Yeah, I think it's really important for young readers to between the battles and all the blood who's flowing, that they have moments of reflection and moments of thinking of important issues like that one.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, when I was the age Eragon is, and younger, I think, and I don't think I'm the only person to do this. I think this is true of many readers. I used the books I was reading as a way of educating myself about what it meant to be an adult and what it meant to grow up and how to grow up. And I feel a certain responsibility when I write my stories to not only tell an entertaining story and maybe a thought-provoking story, but to use the story as an opportunity to address some of those questions that I think many people, deal with as they're growing up. And of course, there are questions also that we continue to address through the rest of our lives as well. And I think that's one of the great gifts of fiction, is that we can explore these issues in our stories. And also with all the blood and the guts and the fighting, taking another life is a terrible thing. And as I said before, I think sometimes it is dealt with too cheaply and too quickly in other stories.
Yeah. We talk perhaps afterwards a little bit about that issue too, because that is important. But what's also interesting, I think I realized that in the first volume you start a lot with money and trading, and he tries to buy the meat and all these things. In Brisinger, there is not a word about money, not a word about trading. There is an issue who disappeared during the writing, or is the impression is wrong?
Well, no, you're right. It did disappear, but it was for a reason. It was because when I wrote the first book, Eragon himself is incredibly poor.
Yeah.
And that was based on some of my own experiences. The sense of inferiority at times, or not being able to buy things that you need or that you want. But later on in the series, he is, he becomes appointed an ambassador essentially to the dwarves. He becomes this great hero and this great figure, and he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. Everyone else still does.
Okay.
But he goes to visit a king or a queen, and his clothes are provided, his swords are there. And I think that, and also in many early civilizations, money was not as prevalent. I mean, there was more of a barter system going on. Yeah. But I do think that Eragon would perhaps reflect on that at some point, that he doesn't have to worry about these things anymore.
Yeah, it's perhaps a little bit like in your life too.
Well, in many ways, this series has reflected my life, both in the questions Eragon deals with and the fact that over the course of this series, Eragon grows up, and over the course of writing it, I have grown up.
Yeah, wonderful.